Hey ladies, thanks for joining me today. If you're new to my channel, my name is Mitzi and I'm a paper girly. And if you're a returner, well, welcome back. Okay girls, so today we're going to do journal prompts on the movie Hoosiers. And you might be thinking, really Mitzi, a sports movie? A sports movie? This isn't, Flashdance. This isn't Pretty in Pink. Yeah, I get that. And the reason why we're doing a sports movie is because who doesn't love an underdog sports movie? Yeah, do I watch a lot of sports movies? No, I don't. I'm kind of a rom-com girly. But this movie in particular, I think is really fitting for us here because girls, oh my gosh, this movie, the themes of it are what we're all about here. Well, at least what I'm all about here. Because if you really reflect on the themes of Hoosiers, it's all things that we're wanting right now. I think that it's all things that we need to focus on right now. Because this movie, at the end of the day, this movie is all about getting back to basics. Getting back to basics, the power of fundamentals, second chances, and redemption. Because I don't know about you gals, but for me, that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on getting back to the basics. We're going to just gear it back. We're going to gear it back to the basics, the fundamentals of what is actually going to bring me joy in my life. And then I'm going to use what I learned about myself to give myself a second chance at the life, that redemptive life that I want to have moving forward. Okay, ladies, so let's get to the quote and then to the prompts, and then we'll have just a real easy craft today. And gals, remember, this is a sports film. This is a sports film, so a lot of the quotes in this film that I could find are kind of, geared around sports. But you know me, I'm going to just, twist it into something that we are going to learn from here. So the first quote is by the main character, Norman Dale. And this is what he says. He says, "Forget about the crowds, the size of the school, their fancy uniforms, and remember what got you here. Focus on the fundamentals that we've gone over time and time again. And most important, don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing the game." So goodness, how do I spin that? It's pretty easy. It is pretty easy. Girls, let's not think about everybody else. Let's not think about those crowds of people, the women that we come in contact with. We're here on social media. There's a lot of comparison. Let's not think about them. Let's just focus on ourselves. Let's focus on ourselves, the work that we are doing for ourselves moving forward. So the first set of journal prompts is under the heading of focus on the fundamentals. And the first one is called the basics. What are the fundamentals in your current life? Are you sticking to the basics or are you rushing to the end result? So that is the first journal prompt. Then the second one is just called next steps. And the question here for you ladies is, what is the exact next step right in front of you today? What is your next step in your journaling journey? What is your next step in building a healthy body? What is your next step in building a strong relationship with your partner or your children? What is your next step to live a more joy-filled life? That's what that question is for. And the last journal prompt under focus on the fundamentals is called noise versus focus. And the question here is, what crowds or fancy uniforms are distracting you from doing your best work or living your best life, and how can you tune out the outside noise? Because gals, that is what I want. That is what I want for me, and that is what I want for you, is to be able to tune out the outside noise, to focus on yourself so that you can go out, move forward, and live your best life. So the next journal prompt is under the heading of embracing the underdog. And girls, oh gosh, I love an underdog story. And with this one, it was a little school that only had a couple dozen boys in it to begin with, that they went on to win this championship. Oh, the fuzzy feelings that I get when I watch movies, particular sports movies, where there is an underdog and they go on to just triumph. I just love that feeling. I love that feeling. So anyway, the journal prompt for this, embracing the underdog, is called the odds. Are you currently feeling like an underdog in a specific situation? How can you use that to your advantage rather than letting it intimidate you? That is the next journal prompt. Because girls, yeah, I get it. There are always times where we feel like underdogs in our lives, where we feel a little bit insecure about certain things. We think, am I capable of that? And I'm going to say, yeah, you won't know unless you try. You won't know unless you try. And a lot of times that is just, well, we talked about it before. The first step to discovering something about yourself is trying. So girls, I just want to challenge you to go out and try. Try something new. Try something different. Yeah, you might feel like a little bit of an underdog at first, but I have a feeling, because yeah, I have had conversations with many of you, that if you just put yourself out there and you put a little bit of effort into it, I think that anything is possible. Anything is possible for you. I mean, look at me, girls. Use me as inspiration. I started a YouTube channel. And a Facebook group as an underdog. I am an underdog. I have a little baby YouTube channel. I have a few followers. And gosh, I mean, was it scary for me to try something new? Yeah, of course it was. I mean, it is every time that I put out a video, it is a little bit scary. But oh my goodness, that feeling, that thrilling feeling that I am out there doing what I want to do, how I want to do it, and the thrill that it gives me knowing that you are out there watching me. Ooh. That is living. That is living, girls. That is a feeling that I cannot replicate any other way. And oh my goodness, the thrill that I get from feeling like, oh my gosh, Mitzi, you are living after so many years of just feeling like I was just surviving. Oh, I can't tell you how much that does for me, beyond the views, beyond the free stickers, beyond anything else. The feeling that I have inside of me, knowing that I took a chance on myself to come on here and do something that is so out of the wheelhouse, out of the box for what is just the norm for me. Oh my goodness, I am proud of myself for taking that chance, for taking that opportunity to not let intimidation keep me from something that is bringing me so much joy. So the last journal prompt lands under the heading of the secret weapon. Now, in this movie, Coach Dale, he's new to town, new to this school. He's going to be the basketball coach. So what does he need? He needs an assistant coach. And who does he pick? Well, he picks Shooter. And Shooter is the town drunk. Shooter is the town drunk that also happens to know a lot about basketball. So Coach Dale, goes out there without any judgment and says, you know what? This is what I need. I need a guy who knows about basketball, and I don't care what his past is. I'm going to give him a second chance. So this last journal prompt is called Your Gimmick, because in the movie, Shooter introduces this basketball play called the Picket Fence, and gosh, it's only supposed to be taken out if you absolutely need it. And do they absolutely need it? Yeah, of course they do. So this is called the gimmick, and this is the question. The question is, what is your unique skill, quirk, or trick up your sleeve that sets you apart from everyone else? Because gals, we all are unique. We all are unique. We all have our own, unique skills, our own unique quirks. And sometimes those can come in clutch because sometimes something that I know is going to benefit somebody else, is going to benefit a situation, benefit, a relationship. Sometimes something that is uniquely me is going to come in clutch in any given situation. And girls, I know that we all have those things. So ladies, that is the quote. There are the journal prompts. We're going to just do a real easy, quick, fun craft, and then we will meet back here. I'm going to go grab my stuff, and then we'll meet back down on my desk. Okay, be right back. Okay, so I thought because we are doing Hoosiers today, well, obviously, let's make something with a basketball theme. So let's start out by making a basketball. So I have a little paper punch here, and goodness, if you don't have one, then just take a pencil, make a circle, cut it out. However, I have a paper punch, so I'm going to use my paper punch. So I'm punching out a circle, and it just comes in the back like that. Okay, so here we go. A circle. Pretty easy, girls. Now, gosh, I had to look up how to draw the lines on a basketball. And it's not going to be perfect, but it is going to look basketball-ish. So we just put a line down the middle, and then we kind of scoop out lines right up here. So 1, and then we're going to scoop out a line at the bottom. So that is a basketball, and it does not get easier than that. However, I am going to put a brand on mine, and I'm going to write down Wilson. And then Mr. Paper, you know, Mr. Paper was butting into my business, and he's like, is that the cool brand? Is that a cool brand of basketball? And I'm like, babe, you know what? You know what? We don't care. We don't care what the brand of basketball is. Goodness. So I'm going to call mine, I'm going to write mine Wilson. And goodness, I'm just going to, you know, write it here. But girls, Wilson, if you actually look at the branding, it is actually that crazy calligraphy writing. But you know me, I can't do that. So I'm just writing down Wilson. I'm writing down Wilson, and then I thought, just to zhuzh it up a little bit, I thought that I would use a metallic pen. A metallic pen because, girls, the actual branding of Wilson has a metallic on it. So it just has a little bit of metallic on, well, it's kind of an outline, but because this is small, I'm just going to kind of just go like that, just to put a little gold effect on it. So that is my basketball. What do you think? Okay. So do you think that that's all I'm doing? Do you think all I'm making is cutting out a piece of paper and putting a couple lines and writing Wilson on it? Really? Well, girls, no. I have something more planned for this. Okay, gals, so I brought you in down real close. And the reason why I did this is because we are working in centimeters today. We are working in centimeters today, so I want you to be able to really see the numbers on my ruler. Because, girls, we are going to have a piece of paper and we're going to measure it out. We're going to measure it out, and it is 11 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Okay? So just cut out a piece of paper, 11 centimeters by 10 centimeters, and then what we're going to do is we're going to fold it. Now, girls, don't get scared. This is not a paper crane. These are just a few simple folds. I promise you. I promise you I would not do that to you again. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of paper and we're going to just fold it in half. We're going to fold it in half and then crease it down. So that is the first fold. Easy peasy. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our ruler. We're going to take our ruler, we're going to put across here, the width of it, and we're going to make some marks. We're going to mark at the 3, and we're going to mark at the 8. And then all we're going to do is we're going to make some lines down. Now, girls, because we're women of a certain age, if you have to mark it down dark, that is okay. That is okay because you are not going to see these marks. So we're going to mark down once, and then we're going to just take a line and go down. And the reason that I'm using a mechanical pencil today is because I am going to be cutting this. So I want to be able to cut as close to the line as I can. So we have 3 and 8. And then what we're going to do is we're going to twist it. We're going to just twist it this way, just like that. And then we're going to take our ruler and we're going to line it up again. And we're going to make a couple more lines. So here we're going to line it up and we're going to do 1/2 centimeter and then bring it up to that line. And we're going to do a full centimeter. Let's see, let me bring this up a little bit more. Do a full centimeter. So we're just going to put a mark right there. And then we're going to flip it around and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do a 1/2 centimeter on the edge and then bring it up and do a full centimeter. So just like that, you have your little marks. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler and you're just going to bring those across. We're going to bring those across just, where is it? Just like this. And we're going to connect those two lines. So you have that little kind of little almost triangle, just like that. And then we're just going to do that on the other side. We're going to take these marks that we made, we're going to line them up, and we're going to make another line. So you have something like this. And is it perfect? I can kind of zhuzh it out with my scissors. So then what you're going to do is we're going to cut this. We're just going to grab some scissors and we're going to cut this. And so we're just going to go down here like this to the line, and then we're going to cut up. And girls, we just have, what, kind of 2-ish more folds. And you'll see what I mean by 2-ish more folds. But I promise, this is not difficult. This is not difficult. This is not a paper crane. It is 2-ish more folds. So then we're just going to cut that down And that should just connect right down there. Boom. So now you have something like this. So girls, I don't know if you have seen this little craft on the internet before, but that's where I got the idea. I got the idea for this on the internet because you know me, that's how I get my crafting. I just look up things on the internet or I see things. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up. We're going to open it up and now you have something that looks like this. Let me get better into frame. So now what we're going to do is we're going to close it back up and we're going to take this and we're just going to fold it down. We're going to fold it over like that. And the angle, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter the angle if I'm quite honest with you. So, and then you're going to do the other side just the same. And so we're going to fold it like this. Boom. So now we have something that looks like this shape. So now we have something that looks like this. And oh my goodness, girls, I just looked up at my monitor and my nails, my nails are looking rough. I took off my nails in order to do some work, some, you know, a lot of typing. And well, I'll put them back on. I'll put them back on because yeah, those are looking rough. Anyway, so now you have the shape like this. And what we're going to do next is we're going to open it up and then invert what we just folded. So this is what I mean by that. We're going to open it back up. And we're going to take it and just invert it like that. So I don't know why the computer glitched right there, but hopefully you saw what I did. We're going to open it up, fold it in, and then, ooh, gosh. Hold on a second. Invert it just like that. So now you have that shape, but backwards, and it kind of looks like a tea bag. Kind of looks like a tea bag. So girls, this is the first part. You're done with this part for now. So then the next thing that we need is we need another piece of paper. We need another piece of paper, and it can be whatever color you want. I picked out red. I picked out red today, and this paper is going to be 11 centimeters by 7 centimeters. So you're going to have another piece of paper, whatever color you want, 11 centimeters by 7 centimeters. So this is going to be our card, because what we're doing is we're making a card today. We're making a card. We're going to use our little basketball and we're going to make a card. So then what you're going to do is you are going to fold this over. Let me fold that over into a card shape just like that. You know, can't get easier than that. And then if you want to be extra, then, you know, go ahead and round the corners. Oh, that's not it. You can go ahead and round the corners out. So I like to round out my corners. So I'm just going to round out my corners. I'm going to round out the corners on my card base. Let me fold that down a little. And then I'm going to round out these corners as well. I just think that it makes it look a little bit more polished when you have the rounded corners. Okay. So I think the reason why my screen is glitching a little bit is because I have you down so low, because I wanted you to see those numbers. So sorry about that. So then next up, what you're going to do is you're going to just lay this down, and you can glue it or you can use double-sided tape. You know me, I like my double-sided tape. However, to show you this example, I'm just going to grab my glue because I have it real quick. I have it real close here. So then you're just going to take your glue and you're going to put some glue on this side, you know, this side of the white. And then basically what I do is I just fold it down. I kind of hold it in place where I want it, and I fold it down in order to get it in the spot that I want it. So now it's glued on that side, and then we do the same thing. We add some glue on this side. And again, we just close it down. Okay, so this is what you have so far. This is what you have so far. Okay, so this is what you have so far. And girls, I figured it out. I figured out what was going on with my camera. It is because it is trying to self-focus, and that's why it is glitching, and that's why it's a little bit fuzzy in places. But I really wanted you to be able to see this up close. So unfortunately, that's how we're going to just, you know, that's how we're going to play the game today, with a little bit of self-focus. So this is what you have now you have this little card, and then when you open it up, it goes like this. See how that works like that? It kind of folds open with those little folds. And you might be thinking, Mitzi, what are we doing? Where are we going with this? Well, girls, let me show you. So, full transparency, I made another one of these. I made one as my tester one, and then this one is where I just walked you through it. So this is what we're going to do with this. We're going to take our little basketball and we're going to make something really fun with, the card, and look what we're going to make, what we're going to do. At least this is what I thought, would be fun. Here's my card, the one that I made using the basketball. I made one of these basketballs, and then this is what I made. Boom. So this card says, you'll never know if you can make the basket unless you have the courage to take the shot. And then it just folds back in. So basically what we did is I just, wrote the script here, and then I made this little, simple gal. I mean, it can't get simpler than that. It's really just, you could even do a stick figure. I just made this. I made this because I saw a card and they had a little character that looked like this. And then I added a little heart on her, and then I added my basketball. And what I did by adding the basketball is how it folds in like this. How you can see this edge. You can kind of see this here. Oh gosh, my nails are just, I'm sidetracked. I have what you call crafter hands right now. They got ink on them and, under my nails, all that kind of stuff. It's a little bit getting me off track here. But yeah, what you do is you just, glue on one little edge on the other side of this, and you attach your basketball. And yeah, do you see those little, those little polka dots on it? I thought, well, you know what? Because I'm extra, let's do that as well. Because, well, we all know that basketballs have a little bit of a texture to them. So that is my card. I think it turned out real cute. I like my little saying, because girls, yeah, you'll never know if you can make the basket unless you actually have the courage to take the shot. So that is the craft for today. Let's get back to those journal prompts. Okay, be right back. So the first category for the journal prompts is focus on the fundamentals. The first one is called the basics. What are the fundamentals in your current life? Are you sticking to the basics, or are you rushing to the end result? That is the first one. And then the second one is called next steps. And the question here is, what is the exact next step right in front of you today? And then the third one is noise versus focus. And the question here is, what crowds or fancy uniforms are distracting you from doing your best work or living your best life? And how can you tune out the outside noise? So those are the first three journal prompts. And then the next one is embracing the underdog. That's what it's under. And it is called the odds. And the question here is, are you currently feeling like an underdog in a specific situation? And how can you use that to your advantage rather than letting it intimidate you? So girls, we don't want to be intimidated. Nobody likes feeling intimidated. It is not a fun feeling to have. So this is a big one. I know this is a big one for a lot of us. And then the last one is under the heading of the secret weapon. And the question here is called the gimmick. What is your unique skill, quirk, or trick up your sleeve that sets you apart from everyone else? Okay, so those are the journal prompts. And girls, because this is a basketball movie, then I have to talk about basketball just a little bit. And truth be told, when I first was introduced to basketball, because George, my son Nick, he played basketball from 4th grade until junior year in high school. Was it junior year? Yeah, junior year in high school. Goodness, I didn't even know the rules. I didn't even know the rules to the game. But did I learn them? Yeah, I learned them because I spent hours and hours sitting outside of gyms while he was at practice, and then hours and hours sitting in gyms watching him play over those years. And so not only did I learn about basketball, but I learned that team sports, they are the way to go. They are the way to go for kids, because there are so many lessons that they could learn. And so, yeah, I want to go over a few lessons that hopefully today in this video that maybe you learned. So the first lesson is ignore the noise. Ladies, focus on yourself, because really at the end of the day, the only person you actually have control over is yourself. So why let that outside noise take you away from what you want, what your goals are, okay? So then the second one is set the tone early and often. It's your program. It is your program, ladies, and you get to decide. You get to decide what is acceptable in your life. You get to decide who is acceptable in your life. You get to decide how you want your life, moving forward. Because girls, I mean, like I say before, or I have said before, and I will say it again, I know I will say it again, is that for me, moving forward through menopause into this next chapter of my life, I just want to focus on the joy. I just want to focus on the joy, and goodness, that means that anything negative, anything negative, I'm just going to kind of set to the side. I'm going to set it to the side. I'm going to let it roll off my back. That is my intention. And girls, I mean, let's be honest. I am on YouTube, and sometimes, every once in a while, not very often, luckily, but every once in a while, somebody will put down a negative comment, and I just let it slide off my back. I let it slide off my back. I push it to the side. And girls, full transparency, I will just mute them. I will just mute them because, girls, I don't want negativity here. This is a channel about supporting women, about celebrating women, about positivity, of being women of a certain age. And so I don't want any negativity, because I do not, well, for me, I can let it slide off my back, but for you, I want this to be a place of joy. So that's why I do that. And then the third lesson is stick to your plan and apologize to nobody. Because like I just said, we can't please everybody. I mean, you can't please everybody, but girls, you know, yeah, be humble enough to understand that every once in a while you might make a wrong turn. And then, when I say apologize to no one, I'm not saying, don't ever apologize again. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying stick firm to your plan. And don't apologize just because you're thinking, oh gosh, somebody is questioning what I'm doing or my intention behind it. Because if your intention is good, then you don't need to apologize for the actions that you're taking. So the last quote for today, again, it is by Coach Dale. And yes, gals, I understand that this is a sports movie. It's not, the typical movie that maybe some of us are used to talking about here on, my channel. But I think that this is a really good quote because, well, girls, this is about a basketball team, right? This is about a basketball team. So if we are team members in that basketball team and the game, we're saying that the game is our life, take that into consideration when I read this last quote. Coach Dale says to the boys, if you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game. In my book, we're going to be winners. And gals, how do we translate that over? Well, you translate that over to the idea that if you put in your effort and you just take the time to really focus on being, the best that you can be, then that's going to be good enough. That is going to be good enough. And so, gals, today I just want to thank you for joining me here in the Girlfriend's Guide to Journaling. I think we're about halfway through. We are about halfway through now. And gosh, it has been fun. And I have only fallen off the craft wagon once. I've fallen off the craft wagon once, but I got back on because I am trying to put in the effort. I'm trying to put in the effort, and I'm trying to focus on being the best that I can be. And I know, I know that I can come up with a craft. And even on the days that I can't, well, guess what? Just me being here with you, putting effort into what I'm doing with the journal quotes and the journal prompts, well, guess what? That is enough. Okay, girls, thanks for joining me today. Until next time, from one paper girly to another, bye.